G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content on my channel. If you missed part 9 of the tool and cutter build, there's a link up there now, you can go watch that now. And if you missed it, that was the one where I pretty much completed it, but never got around to testing it out to see if it actually works. And there was actually still one or two little things I need to do. So follow me over to the bench, I'll show you what I did to finish it off completely, and then we'll do something about trying to grind some end mills and see whether it actually works or whether I just wasted 10 weeks, 9 weeks building the thing. So follow me over there. Alrighty, so something that I'd said I was going to do and I didn't show you that I did was put these two oilers in there, and I had to make up something to read this off, this scale off. So I used a piece of, where is it? Piece of this aluminium angle I said I had, cut a bit off and machined, filed, sanded it into this piece here. Now I was going to screw that on there and I just went, no, that's all too much trouble, so I used a bit more of this Patex power epoxy and I just glued the thing on. Actually I nearly stuffed up and glued it onto here, which would have been an absolute, well, you can't see that, I nearly glued it onto there, which would have been a bloody tragedy. Alright, so now I've got to figure out where a permanent mark goes on here. So I'll get this thing back on there. Righty, now that I've got that fitted back up on there, I'll get this bit back on here. Well, luckily we can spin this one around to do it up. Right, so the plan, Stan, is to rock it forward. I sat this bit of stuff on here the other day and it's glued itself to it now. The paint was a bit sticky still. I'll put a bit under here so we don't scratch all that paint up. We'll rock this thing all the way forward as far as it'll go. Now what I've got to do is square this up so that the line on here corresponds with dead square to this. What I've done is I've dug out one of my parallels. I'm just going to sit it across. Ooh, that won't fit in there. I better go and get a smaller one. Everything goes rusty here, it's unbelievable. I'll sit that on there and wind this. Oh, I think we're going to wind it over. Is it going to get there? Maybe not. No, it's not. 1, 2, 3 block to the rescue. We'll put that in there, sit it up against the blade. Put this in here. Rightio. So that way we can get it all squared up to there. Lock this up. You see I didn't rehearse this. Oh yeah. So now I can put a little scribe line down on here. There's something to show me where it's got to go. I've got this nice shiny new chamfering tool which has a fine point on it. So I'll get that all pulled apart again, put it in the mill and use that to scribe a little line on there and then put some paint in it so I could see it more permanently. Once I've done all that, I'll come back to you and we will put an end mill in there and see if we can't sharpen one up. Alrighty, so you know, just doing those couple of little things like putting that mark on here turned into a whole heap of wishful thinking, because I made that last bit of video 4 or 5 days ago. I think it was 5 days ago, and it's just been one thing after another, just little minor things. I never considered how much, let me turn this on, how high this was going to get when you set it at 15 degrees. Mind you, that's saying 15.3 at the moment. And this shaft in there was just way too short. I turned the place upside down. I should have had another one with this thread on it here somewhere, but damn well I can find it. It's the little short piece I was using when I was setting it all up. So I had to grab the other one I had with the same thread as this shaft on it, which is a 14mm thread. That's only a 12mm thread. Order a button die, turn it down, rethread it, remachine it. You know, it's just been on and on and on. I had an issue with this whole thing here. I sort of figured out why I was going to have 2 shafts in here originally. It's to stop this thing from rocking like that. And this while it was a cap head in there, was meant to stop that happening, but because of the roughness I'd mentioned in the bottom of that slot, it was just didn't fit well enough. So I had to pull this shaft out and remachine the slots, and then I thought, what will I do with it? I'll just make a brass one to go in there. Another issue was it was, when I wound it up, it was sticking, didn't want to come back, and it still is. Look at that, it's sticking there now. It's probably too big. There is it, yep. I'm still going to have another look at that. I'm going to pull all apart again because I forgot to put this ring on the front up here, so I've got to put that back on it. And I now need to square all this back up again. But what I'll do to do that is I'll put another one of my parallels up in here again, and then I'll put the I'll put a meter up on here and run it up and down there until I get it squared. But I'm not going to bore you with all that crap, so I'll get all that done, and it's a bit too early to be even turning this thing on at the moment. It's only just 8 o'clock, too early for the neighbours, I think. I'll get all that done, and then when I finally come back, we'll have a crack at grinding up an end mill. Now, on that subject, the first one I want to do is one of these roughing cutters, and I've bought quite a few, and I've had to toss them in the drill because I've chipped the corners off. This one was so badly damaged, I thought, well, I'll grind the top off it. I actually had to grind 6mm off that, and it literally wore this disc out that I was using to grind the flats on the shaft with. It's taken all the diamonds off this outer edge here, just wore the bloody thing out. But anyway, that's the one we're going to have a crack at when I finally get all these other little bits and pieces done. Back as soon as I can. Alrighty, so I have to admit to having cheated a little bit here. I've actually been around this a couple of times, just trying to get it all set up, but we'll go around it one more time before we change the setup to cut the primary angle. Alrighty, I'll spin it around so you can maybe see it. That's pretty bloody sharp. I actually had to buy a new wheel too. I bought two out of China. Neither of them are marked as to what grip they are. One is supposed to be 600, now they're supposed to be 250, but I tell you what, they look exactly the bloody same. So I ordered a 180 from a supplier up in Bangkok, and it came in a box. It's got a label on the inside and everything. It's 180. Let's loosen that off. Anyway, I hope you can see that. I need to reset the angle now to 5 degrees. That'll mean I'll bring you back because it'll be a little bit of mucking around. Alrighty, so we're set at 5 degrees, and I might actually have to chop a bit more off the top of this shaft because that's actually a bit high, that wheel at the moment, I think. But anyway, we'll have a go. I didn't actually put a locking screw in the dovetail here, and it's coming loose, working its way loose. So it looks like I'll just have to tighten up one of these screws that are in there. A bit more tiny little M3s that are in there. Alrighty, what have we got? Huh, it looks like I've crammed off all that 15 degrees already. This is going to take a bit more testing to get this right, I think. When I finally get it right, I'll let you know. Alrighty, so while you guys weren't looking, I've got this pretty much ground to where it needs to be. Except, as you can see by the one I've been using, and it's bloody broken as well too, I just noticed, it's got a chunk missing out of here. These are an Italian made thing, and by God they're hard. They've got this grind on the inside here, which I'm going to try and figure out how I'm going to put that in there. And I just don't know how I'm going to get that in there. I tried cutting the end off this with the angle grinder and it just almost didn't want to touch it. So I think I'm going to have to find some sort of little diamond blade to that I can use to put that in there. For these cutters anyway. Alright, I'm not prepared to completely give up. I've got some normal 12mm end mills and things here that need sharpening up. These are centre cutting, so we'll see how we go with those. But it's bloody hot out here with the fans going, so I'm going to have a little break for a while. Alrighty, after giving this a lot of thought about how I could do this grind that they've got in here, I decided, well, I've got pretty steady hands. I think I'll have a crack at doing it by hand, and I did. So I just went up and got up in here and ground it on this in here like this, because it takes a pretty, well, I don't even have the same angle they had on it, but I'm hoping I can focus on this. That's the result I've got. The cutting edges are not all that even, and it doesn't exactly look exactly the same as this one, but it does have, I don't know if you can see that or not, a hollow centre in there, so you know it's not touching anything in the centre. So I think I might go and put it in the mill and see how it performs. Alrighty, so here goes nothing. Alrighty, in the interest of complete honesty here, that, outside of that 20mm end mill I sharpened by hand while I was making this thing, is the first end mill I've ever sharpened in a tool and cutter grinder, ever. So it looked like I didn't know what I was doing before. It's because I don't really do. I'm learning as I go, like I always do. Alrighty, we'll get it out of there and see how it held up. I thought I might have wrecked this before I even got over to the mill. I dropped the damn thing on the floor and I was hoping I didn't break it, and it looks exactly like it did over there. So it looks like that is a successful grind. You know, in saying that this is the first time I've ever ground in a tool and cutter grind, I probably picked the hardest one that I had to grind, and it hasn't come up too bad. Like I said, you can see these, I hope you can see it, these primary cutting edges are not all the same width. It's varying a little bit. I do have some issues with that thing that still need fixing. So let's go back over to the grinder and I'll talk about that. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. This continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now let's get back to the build. Alrighty, so as you probably might have seen in the video, at times you'll see this thing as I'm trying to grind bouncing up and down. And this little key, if you like, in the slot in the side here is just not doing the job that I wanted it to do. So what I'm thinking about doing is cutting a piece of brass that can bolt onto here so that I have a top surface and a side surface, and making up something that clamps tight onto this shaft that will sit down on top of it and can run on the top and the side too, so that when I adjust up this lever over the back here, pushes it down against it and the thing can't twist at all. And I think that's probably the easiest way around this. But I'm not going to do that in this episode, and I might not even bother to record it. But if you'd like to see me do that, then stick it down in the comments and maybe I will record it and you can watch it. But anyway, I think I've proven the point that, you know, I can grind, this does grind tools, and reasonably successfully. I just need to get the little minor bugs out of it. I mean, this came up, you know, pretty good, really, for a first go. So if you've enjoyed watching me build this entire project and seeing that it does actually work to a degree, how about smashing that like button and giving it a great big thumbs up, because you know it helps me out. I don't think I've got much more to show you and much more to do at the moment, so I think we'll wrap this up. We'll call this, for the time being, if you don't want to watch me modify this, the end of this project. And we'll come up with something else. I think next week I will do a video on that little edge finder that I bought, and I said I would do a full video on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.